Welcome back to Crypto Atlas, your daily source for crypto whale alerts, crypto market news, and DeFi gems. Guys, what a wild 24 hours. The charts are alive. Whales are moving. Governments are hinting, and exchanges are loading up like they know something big is coming. So let's go ahead and dive right in because this first whale move is actually quite jaw dropping. So, Whale Alert just caught 6,387 Bitcoin. That's worth about $686 million, leaving Coinbase and landing in a completely unknown wallet. That's not your average whale swim. That's a whole pot of whales moving in formation. But here's where it gets interesting. After arriving in that new address, the wallet immediately started splitting the funds into dozens of 125 Bitcoin chunks, each worth over $13 million. That's a textbook sign of internal restructuring, likely Coinbase shuffling coins into new cold storage addresses for security, not a single investor cashing out. Still, whenever that much Bitcoin leaves an exchange, the market pays attention. Coins off exchange usually mean less selling pressure and more hodling confidence. But if those smaller wallets ever start sending Bitcoin back toward exchanges, that's when we know a dump might be coming. So for now, though, the vibe feels bullish. Big money moving out of public circulation right as new bullish news hits the wire. And speaking of which, let's go and talk politics because this next headline lit up over on Twitter. Breaking, the White House just announced President Trump will be making an announcement at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. There's no details yet, but crypto traders are already speculating it could tie into digital asset regulation, maybe even that long-awaited crypto market structure bill everyone's been whispering about. The timing feels way too close to today's market activity to be random. People are saying, what does he know that we don't? If it's even slightly bullish for crypto adoption, expect Bitcoin to move fast. And speaking of moves, here's another bombshell tweet. Binance buying millions of Bitcoin every minute. They 100% know something. Yeah, that one turned heads. No official confirmation yet, but large Binance wallets have shown continuous inflows through the morning, possibly internal accumulation or institutional buying through over-the-counter desks. When you see exchange wallets loading up instead of distributing, that's the opposite of what happens before a sell-off. So this could be Binance positioning ahead of a regulatory or macro shift. Whether they're front-running news or simply strengthening reserves, it's a bullish optic. An exchange that size doesn't buy millions per minute unless they're confident. Then, as if the drama wasn't already peaking, another tweet dropped just before noon. Insider Bitcoin whale fully closes Bitcoin shorts? Time to pump? So the same insider account that opened a massive $235 million short earlier this week, caused that temporary dip, has now completely closed out that position. That's a total reversal. Combine that with Binance reportedly buying and the Coinbase outflow, and the narrative flips from fear to full-on FOMO. When whales stop shorting and start accumulating, it usually means they believe the bottom for this week's volatility is already behind us. And if that wasn't enough confirmation, Coinbase's own CEO just went live on CNBC and said the Bitcoin and crypto market structure bill is about to pass. That's huge. This bill has been the missing puzzle piece for years. It's the one that would finally define digital assets under US law, separating what counts as a security from what's considered a commodity. Passing it would give institutions clarity and the green light to pour real capital in without regulatory fear. So now picture the timing. A whale moves $686 million off Coinbase into cold storage. Binance loads up on Bitcoin, shorts close, and the Coinbase CEO hints the bill is ready. It's all converging. But the story doesn't stop with Bitcoin, because something wild is happening in gold too, and that might explain why crypto is heating up. Gold just had its worst intraday drop in 12 years, plunging 5.5% before bouncing back near $4,120 an ounce. That's after an insane 65% rally this year. Yeah, 65%. Driven by central bank demand and investors hedging against currency debasement. Analysts say the pullback is probably profit taking as the US dollar strengthened, but here's where it connects to Bitcoin. Historically, when gold tops out, Bitcoin tends to take the spotlight next. UBS strategist Ulrich Hoffman Burkhardy said the rally pause was expected, but the overall macro picture still supports precious metals, and by extension, alternative stores of value. She even set an upside case for gold at $4,700 per ounce if political or economic shocks intensify. But FundStrat's Sean Farrell pointed out the more interesting dynamic. Every time gold rolls over, Bitcoin bounces. And that's exactly what just happened. Bitcoin dipped near $107,000, then ripped back up towards $113,000 once gold fell. Farrell calls it the rotation trade. Investors moving from traditional safe havens into digital ones. And with rate cut odds climbing and real yields possibly going negative, the setup for Bitcoin's next leg up looks surprisingly healthy. And then meanwhile, KuCoin, they just made a major move in the mining world, one that could quietly reshape the proof of work ecosystem. They launched KuPool, a brand new mining pool platform that starts with Dogecoin and Litecoin and plans to add Bitcoin soon. What makes it stand out is its verifiable hash rate system, basically a transparent, auditable way for miners to prove they're getting their fair share of rewards. That's been a big trust issue in traditional pools where miners often have to rely on opaque accounting. KuPool promises low latency, traceable payouts, and deep integration with KuCoin's existing exchange and Ku mining services. So instead of miners spreading across fragmented pools, KuCoin's betting on one unified, transparent ecosystem. And long term, that could decentralize hash power and make mining more accessible globally, especially if they really do roll in Bitcoin support later this year. But while one exchange is building trust, another part of the crypto world just got darker. According to Decrypt, on-chain data shows the alleged mastermind behind a $14 billion crypto scam, Chen Ji, a Chinese-Cambodian businessman, just moved nearly $2 billion in Bitcoin to new wallets. These wallets were tied to Prince Holding Group, his conglomerate that the U.S. Justice Department says ran a massive pig butchering scam network. Here's the crazy part. The wallets that moved were already sanctioned by the US Treasury last week. So by moving funds, Chen's group may be trying to hide or relabel those coins under fresh addresses. Analysts at Arkham Intelligence flagged 4 new wallets receiving about 15,959 Bitcoin. That's roughly $1.7 billion, separate from the $14 billion the US government already seized. This seizure was the largest in DOJ history, and it's reigniting conspiracy theories because the coins trace back to Lubion, a Chinese mining pool allegedly hacked in 2020. Some researchers now believe that hack might never have been a hack at all, and that US authorities had been tracking those coins the whole time. Others think the missing Bitcoin could have been quietly recovered years ago under government control. Either way, the US now sits on a massive 127,000 plus Bitcoin stack, essentially a digital gold reserve. So between government seizures, exchange accumulation, whales shifting hundreds of millions off platforms, and regulators hinting at clarity, this week feels like the calm before something massive. So I'd really like to hear what you guys think about this latest news. And just taking a very quick look at the price movement, we're seeing really nice movement on the day here. Green, we do have 2 red days previously, and we're sitting above that VWAP. That Bollinger Band is still pretty wide. We'll see how things continue to play out. I do have a referral link to BTCC. You can find this down in the description below. They've been around for 13 years, and if you want to get into leverage, they've got up to 500 times leverage, and there's sign-up bonuses. Again, you can find that in the description down below. And I'm also on Blue Sky at Crypto Atlas. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members. God bless, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.